What up, what up, what up? It's your girl T.U.O coming back with another reality check. All right, let's jump right into it, okay? Because I'm kind of disappointed if things are going in the route that I think it's going to go into. Again, sorry for the background noise. It's out of my control, out of my hands, okay? Now, I've been watching this season of Real Housewives of Atlanta. We got Portia, we got Shamia, we got Angela, we got uh, Kelly. I don't know who the hell I was about to say. Camila. We got K Michelle. We got Drew Sidora. Who else is there? I feel like I'm missing somebody every time I go through the lineup. Oh, and Pinky, right? And for me, because the season's about to wrap, right? For me, the person that I want to remain on the show, obviously, is Shamia, Angela, K Michelle, possibly. Um, who else? uh uh Kelly, she's cool. And of course Cynthia, but those are the main people. And I say that because for one, Angela and Shamia is the only married wives on the show. And it's called real housewives. Okay, not play, not dating. Real housewives of Atlanta. So I'm kind of confused as to, are we just doing it for popularity, or are we trying to really promote, put out housewives? None of those other ladies, of course, I mentioned Kelly, but I feel like they're more likely to get married than other people. But let's get into the episodes. Like I said, I've been watching it. First thing we notice is Portia invites K Michelle and Kelly to a tea party, which is them. And you can tell that Portia's still upset about the previous year being accused of sleeping with that lady's husband, what Kelly said. And so what Portia did was try to throw it back at her and say, well, weren't you dating a married man? And he was at the excuse me, he was at the BET Award, and he's a pastor. So I looked it up. I did look it up a while ago, but I don't remember. I don't know, and I don't feel like going through it. I'm gonna be real with you. I don't feel like going through it. It doesn't matter. You gotta do your own research. But the person that I found, I was like, that don't seem like Kelly's type. I don't think she would date him per se. But either way it goes, that's none of my business. But there was no evidence, there was no proof. Portia was being like very vague. How you say, like she was trying to keep it a secret of who told her and all these things, right? And so I'm like, well, if you're gonna bring it to the forefront, you need to also be willing to bring all the information to the forefront. If not, just remain silent. Because there's no point in sitting up there saying, well, somebody told me, and then the person said, who told you? Oh, I ain't gonna get into that. I ain't gonna get into all that and all that. I'm like, no, that's not how it works. Because I'm gonna automatically say, well, I don't believe you until you tell me who it is. Oh well, sure, whatever. Now, if I was Kelly, I wouldn't even care. I'd be like, oh, okay, that's cool. Because without facts and evidence, your information is standing on shaky grounds. So Kelly gets all upset. They fall out a little bit. And K Michelle is like, this is my first introduction of Portia. And this is how she presents herself to me, as a messy person. And so then later on, K Michelle has surgery on her buttocks. I guess there was leakage into her bloodstreams. And so she had to have an emergency surgery, and she said that there was a like some liquid in the seat, and she didn't know what it was. And she said it was before she got on stage. But if you recall, K Michelle walked up on that stage still and performed. So I'm like, and she said she don't remember anything that happened either. So K Michelle has her surgery. When she recovers, or not even when she recovers, after the surgery, she goes from the hospital straight to an event that the girls were having. I forgot who was doing the event, but it was like a spa day or something. And she came with glam and everything and got did up and everything. And the first thing Portia says is, "Did you have a miscarriage?" And K Michelle is taken aback because she like, "Girl, I called you and told you what actually happened to me. So why would you sit up there and assume that I had a miscarriage?" I also think that I believe K Michelle wants to produce another child for her now husband, but I think she should do a surrogate. Okay. I'm for the surrogate. I don't think K Michelle should do that. She's not in, proper health. And in her age too, and it's hard to get back down to a certain size. So if you got the money to do it, I would do it. I would just get a surrogate. I wouldn't put my body through all that. Um, we know how it feels. Once you have one, it's not no difference, okay? So, anyways, um, so K Michelle was offended. She had to sit down with Portia and lets her know like that was out of line for you to say to me. But she doesn't push hard. She doesn't like the K Michelle that we know is not the K Michelle that's on the show, and I'm not mad about it. But she said in her confessional, she said, "I'm not gonna go hard on Portia because she a big ass dinosaur or some shit like that. She'll beat me up and all this stuff. So I'm not gonna go there with her like that." And so she didn't push hard and be like, "Nah, you tried to call me out. You tried to embarrass me." She just accepted whatever Portia was saying at the time for what it was, and they moved forward. Then there was another situation where Phaedra had an event and invited all the girls to do what do they call Rocky something. Okay, that thing that she do is like meditation, and they have like a little powwow afterwards, drinks and everything. And Portia's saying something. Um, she's saying something like, "I have never something," and Kelly said, and Portia slept with all the men in Africa. And she said, and Portia flipped the script. She flipped so quick. She was like, "Fuck you, bitch." She flipped so quick. She went from like real peaceful and humble, like, because I've never or something. I forgot what Portia was doing, but Kelly was irritated, and she said, and Portia slept with all of Africa's, all the African men in Atlanta. I said, "Oh Lord Jesus, help us all." And Portia was about to jump on her. She was Kelly was throwing her, wagging her drinks in Portia's face and everything. She was like, "I don't care, bitch. You slept with him." And they had to remove Kelly out the situation. And Portia was like, y'all need to make sure she ain't waving no drinks in my face and all this. But mind you, Portia was sitting up there pointing her finger all in her face when she was like, "Fuck you, bitch." It was she was pointing all in her face, putting her finger on her face. And also the fact that she tried to accuse her of sleeping with a married man with no facts or evidence. Now, if y'all believe that, y'all go ahead and believe that, okay? Y'all simple minded. I can tell by watching the reviews. I mean, the reunions of Beverly Hills Housewives. But So what happened then? I think they go out of the country to Scotland, right? And that's where Kelly and Portia make up. Look, I'm not about to talk about Cynthia's event that crashed and burned. It doesn't really matter. It's nothing of substance to talk about. They was mad about the rooms. They thought it was dirty. They thought Cynthia was outcasting them or what's the word? Like pointing them out. I forgot the word I'm trying to say. But and it wasn't really that big of a deal. Pinky was drunk as hell on the floor. Cynthia came and brought her some apple cider. Uh, or, or what is it called? Cider, ginger ale. And not outcasting. It's just like I forgot the word for it. But anyways, and so it wasn't really anything of substance. Drew was late to her event. She didn't really want to go because there was tension between her and Shamia or something. Everybody assumed Shamia started some mess between K Michelle and the other ladies, and K Michelle found out that they was plotting against her to talk about the rumors of her box smelling bad and I guess allegedly Idris Elba or something. And even though that would have been a juicy storyline to talk about, to figure out like what happened in that relationship, girl. Like, how did you lose that one? Because if I'm not mistaken, I think he's a Virgo. I think Idris Elba is a Virgo, if not a Scorpio. Okay, and they would have been a perfect match, right? Um, yeah, a Virgo. Okay, well, I guess not. Yeah. Oh well. So I would have liked to hear at least a little something about what happened in that relationship. Um, like I'm trying to think. You know, they go to Drew Sidor's event. K Michelle really didn't want to go, but she decided to go and support the mother of the child who was deceased. And Drew K Michelle said, I wasn't here for you. I was here for the family. They end up going for drinks afterwards. K Michelle, Shamia, and Drew Sidora. It didn't last long. Just call K Michelle out and say, you know, I don't see what your problem is with me. And K Michelle said, I'm not here for that. And she got up and left. And then Shamia tried to keep her bag and left K Michelle waiting in the car until she got her bag, or the assistant came. And by the time the assistant came to get the bag, Shamia and Drew start arguing and saying, you know, you full of it, whatever the case may be, because it's not really that deep, whatever they talking about. I feel like not Shamia, I think Drew is doing exactly what she said Shamia was doing with Portia, and she needs to mind her business because she's so quick to side with Portia. If a person is your friend, I'm all for not calling a person out in front of everybody, right? But when it's just one on one, you and that person, and you call them your friend, you can at least say, "Girl, you know, I don't agree with what you're doing. You know, I think you was wrong in this situation, or whatever the case may have been. You should be able to call them out." Do I think Portia and Shami are going to be friends again? No, because things have gone too far. Even before this whole situation happened, I don't think they're going to be friends again. I didn't think they were going to be friends again. For one, I thought for the show, but then for two, um, for two, for two, for the show for two. What? I don't think Portia was really friends with Shamia like that. Because when you see that Shamia is trying to reach out to her and tell her how she feels, oh wow, he too busy into his date. Okay. um so I don't think she was really into the friendship like that. I think what Shamia was saying was kind of true. That Portia felt like, okay, we best friends and you a friend of the show, yeah, we good. But once you come on the show, we just co-workers. And I believe Shamia when she said that because of how Portia was treating her when they had that sit down, and Shamia was telling her how she felt, and Portia was being very dismissive of her, and like, yeah, and Shamia said, "Are you gonna look at me while I'm talking to you?" She was like, "Oh my goodness, you gonna be like that? Okay, or whatever, you know." And it didn't seem genuine coming from Portia's side. I feel like Shamia was pouring her heart out while Portia was taking it lightly. Y'all tell me what y'all think about it. That's my opinion on it. So fast forwarding, okay, because like I said, none of that stuff is really of substance. They get to Scotland, Kelly and Portia make up. I was pissed off. I was pissed off when Kelly and Portia made up. I said, I know you ain't gonna sit up there and be friends with a woman who told you that you was sleeping with a married man. That's what we doing. And she said she got all the tea on it, and she was willing to expose you. It couldn't be me. You better than me. But I guess you got to do what you got to do for a piece of change. Okay. And then who else was it? Let's see. And so come to find out, because I'm like, there was really nothing going on. And you know what? I missed 2 weeks too. I'm gonna be real with you. I missed 2 weeks, but I watched it recently. Because we were trying to figure out what caused Shamia and Portia to fall out again. So I'm sorry, I smell smoke. But what happened? What happened before that? Anything before that? I'm trying to think. Oh, okay. I remember. So Angela, when they get there, Angela and Shamia get into it because Angela comes out and say, you slept with this attorney. I don't know this man's name. Steve, I think Steven. You slept with Steven. He said you slept when he had to pay for it. He just had to pay for it or whatever. And that his wife said that you slept with him or something. And Shamia was heartbroken because she like, you out here trying to come for my marriage, come for my family, and put this false information out there. I've never tried to sleep with anybody. And I'm in agreement once again with Shamia. Like, what reason does she have to sleep with this green goblin? And I'm not saying anything. If she like it, if Ashley like it, I love it. But compared to what Shamia got, I mean, why would she leave that for that? And I ain't never been to Ashley's house or anything like that. But I'm pretty sure Shami is doing better. Again, why? For what reason? For a discount or something? No, that's ridiculous. Um, so, and I guess she was saying that it happened before she got married to her husband. I can't remember Shamia's husband name, but before she got married to her husband. And so I didn't want to call him the wrong name. But anyways, and so Shamia goes in the room and she's kind of upset. I don't think she's crying, but she's upset. And she calls the wife and she shows text messages. The wife saying Angela lying. Her ass is lying or whatever. Call me. And so Shamia calls her. She said, "Yeah, Angela called me to get information on you, to get tea on you." And I told her I ain't got none. And so um, Shmia said, "Did you tell her that I slept with your husband or something?" She said, "No. Why would I say something like that?" Um, and then they start talking mess to Angela, going back and forth, and Angela started roasting the hell out of them, roasting the hell out of Shamia, roasting the hell out of Kelly, just roasting them. Okay, it was funny. It was funny. Um, and then after that, they go to dinner, and I'm not saying everything in order or whatever. I'm just telling you the amusing parts of the show, the height of the show. Okay, that's the only thing I'm talking about. So then they go to dinner, and I don't know how it was brought up, but I think Shamia was pointing out the fact, like, how come I can't spend time with Pilar? It's really sad that we were best friends, and I was there for you when you were pregnant, when you gave birth to Pilar. How come I can't? How come you don't bring her over? My child and your child are friends. Why can't you just put that aside, put whatever we got going on aside, and allow our kids to still hang out? And I think she mentioned, I didn't hear this part, but it later came out, like, she said, the only time I get to see Pilar is when Dennis brings her over, or we do play dates with Dennis. And that's gonna cause friction between Portia and Dennis, because Portia gonna cuss him out and tell him what he can and cannot do with his own child, which is crazy. Um, and then I don't know how it led up to this, but she was like, "And you want to talk about mothers, basically." So Shamir brings up this tweet right here. I'm gonna share my screen. I'm so sorry I keep bringing coming to y'all, and I'll be like low key, low monotone, like real tired and stuff. I be trying, child. But I said, let me go ahead and do it real quick. Let me share as you come in. It's free, as the people like to say. It's free. I don't know why, but my thing is going slow. Is it Sharon? I don't think it's Sharon. Okay, hold on a second, because it did some weird stuff right now. And it's like, it's not super duper hot, but it's hot today. So maybe that's the reason why my computer is moving like really slow. Okay, so it says, this is from Portia. I'm gonna just say this. I'm watching new episodes, Shamia. Now, don't take it there. Don't imply ish about Diane Williams. I've been keeping it cute and quiet, and you can do and say what you want in me. I think she meant to say about me. But hear me when I say wrong road. Talk about, well, your mom thought my mom was a friend, knowing goddamn well that what she did to my mom was highly egregious. Don't do it. Keep playing victim in that BS. Don't F with my mom. So I think that was the tweet that Portia sent. Hold on, I'm gonna try to find the other one, because I think that's the tweet. But the fact that she's alluding to to sorry, the fact that she's alluding to poor Faith, what's her name, Shamia's mama doing something egregious, is also lighting a candle or highlighting information or putting Shamia's mother in a bad light. Okay, no, that's not it. Okay, that's the new tweet. I'm trying to make sure that's the right one. But yeah, she's alluding to the fact that Shamia's mother did something egregious. And it's just like, okay, so you want to talk about mothers? Let me defend my mother too, because you're not just going to sit up there and put information out about my mother, insinuating, alluding, and that's what she continues to do. She creates smoke with no fire, with no fire. And so I hope Shamia brings her parents, but as evidence, right? And so Shamia said, well, what I heard was that your mother tried to sleep with my dad while my mom was dating him or something. And everybody is shocked. Everybody like, what? What's going on here? What? And K Michelle's like, Shamia. Hold on, I'm looking at this little boy. Hold on a second. But yeah. So she basically, I'm sorry, I thought I was gonna get him. So funny. Um, but I'm sorry. I love when kids be kids. But so she said, your mama tried to sleep with my daddy and all this stuff. and and everybody's upset. K Michelle's like, Shamia, why would you say that? Girl, did you not see what she said about my mama? What you mean? And he talking about don't come for mamas. Well, she came for her mother first. You just have to call a spade a spade. It is what it is. And Shamia kept the key for as long as she could, but she definitely couldn't hold it no more. She like, damn, forget that. Okay. And so I think Portia said that Shamia's mother slept with her husband's brother. I said, I beg your pardon. I think Portia be lying. I think y'all like the fact y'all like to be lied to. I think that's what it is. Y'all like to be lied to. Y'all will accept her lies just because Shamia said something. But whatever the case may be, moving on. So Shamia, I think Shamia got up, she started crying, upset and whatever, because I think people were like, that was too much, Shamia. You you wrong, Shamia, and all this stuff, or whatever the case may be. And then um and then uh uh what happened? She goes back to the house with Kelly. Kelly goes with her, which was very, very supportive on Kelly's behalf. And then they come home, I think, for a second, get dressed, and then go to a nightclub to celebrate Phaedra's birthday or whatever. And Kelly said, I'm not coming on vacation to be sitting in the house all day. You better get dressed and let's go. They go to the club. Portia, what's her name? Shamia goes in, act like nothing happened, and start dancing. I mean, that's kind of what you do. It happened, but we're here to celebrate. We're just gonna put on a brave face right now until things has passed, and then the next day, or when we get back into town, then we can have a discussion about it, right? And um, so they start dancing, and then Portia decides to leave. Cynthia leaves. Who else leaves? Phaedra leaves, I think. Everybody basically leaves. The ups. Drew leaves. I think the only people that didn't leave was K. Michelle, Pinky, and Kelly. And Shamia stayed. So while Shamia's singing, they start walking out and talking about leaving. But I don't think they actually walked out. They sat there waiting for their car or whatever. And then they end up leaving with Portia. Shamia felt some type of way and said, I don't want people to get in the middle of whatever's going on between me and Portia, which is understandable because she's not sitting up there doing anything personally. So I think that if Portia wanted to leave, I think somebody could have went with her, but I don't think that everybody should have left with her. It's not like I said, Shamia did anything personally to them. Of course, Shamia and Drew are not that close, but again, not understanding why. And then the next day, I think Shamia goes around saying, I'm sorry that I ruined the dinner, the outing, and all this stuff. And I feel like right along with Kelly and somebody else, you need to stand on 10 toes about what you did. Yeah, come here. Oh, hold on a second, guys. My bad. Um, so, um, what happened? So she go around apologizing to everybody. I'm just like, girl, what you apologizing for? You did what you did, stand 10 toes down, and the fact that you said what you said to Portia, don't take it. I don't think she's apologizing about what she said per se, saying like, I wish I would have never said that. She meant what she said, but I don't think she meant to ruin the events and everything for everybody. I think that's what she's apologizing for. She can care less about Portia's feelings. That's why everybody keeps saying, well, you need to apologize to Portia. No, for what? And I feel like it's wrong that everybody, knowing darn well that Portia said something about her mother first. And their reasoning is, well, that was over a year. That was a year ago. Why didn't you say something then? And it's like, I did, but I also didn't want to expose her on a national platform. But I have second thoughts. Whatever. Everybody has a right to change their mind. If that's what you guys know, y'all believe in that. A woman can say no at any time. You're right. A woman has every right to change her mind at any time. And so, upon her changing her mind, she decided to expose her mama because she was like, "Girl, you're not gonna drag my mama through the mud. I'm gonna drag your mama through the mud." And that's exactly what she did. And so, you just have to stay out of it and let them do what they have to do to get past it. Um, so what it feels like is Portia is trying to push Shamia out the group, and even Shamia feels like that. She's like, oh, how's she just gonna come around after what just happened? I haven't had a chance to process the whole situation. or blah 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 blah. And I'm like, girl, what that mean? Shoot, you didn't have a whole time to process the situation with you and what's her name? You keep looking over here. With you and resolve that situation with you and Kelly. And so uh yeah, this is what it is. If Shamia leaves, it's no point in watching the show because it's not Real Housewives of Atlanta. I truly believe, if anything, I don't think Portia needs to be on the show. For one, she got a bad rep right now. It ain't even been time for the whole Simon situation to pass. Like, it went from you stole that man's husband to now you divorcing him and taking half of his stuff, took his home and everything that he worked for or whatever, scam for, whatever, allegedly the case may be, and living off of him. That's my biggest issue, man. That's my biggest issue. And so, and you're not married. You should be a friend of the show. You're not married. This is a waste of our time and energy. So let Shamia stay on the show because she is a married woman. She really should be the lead runner. She should be the lead, not Portia. Why would you put a single woman in front of the show where it's called Real Housewives of Atlanta? Make it make sense. Portia, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. She just doesn't really offer anything. She dating two people, multiple, I'm not mad or anything about it, but it's just like, girl, you're single. You should be a friend of the a friend of the show. Most of these people, if you can't bring your man on the show, even Kelly, you hiding your man is really suspect. If you can't bring your man on the show, then maybe you should be a friend of the show because then you can pick and choose what you want to expose, and then you have to follow along with the girls. It's not really mandatory to allow viewers into your life. That's the whole point of this. So that's my commentary about the show. Okay. What else can I say? What else is there to say? If Shamia go, I'm going. I don't even want to watch the show no more. There's nothing to offer to the show. Okay. Y'all let me know y'all comments. Please again, like and comment. And if you want, subscribe. If you team Shamia, subscribe. Okay. I'll say that. If you team Portia, subscribe. If you team Shamia, subscribe. If you team Portia, like. Okay. Let's see. Let's see what it is. Let me see. I wonder. I think I'm gonna make a poll. But you know what was so disappointing is that the reunion already passed. And I wish I would have did my video so that Portia could be held to the fire, and also the other castmates can be held to the fire. Because what you mean that it's okay for her to talk about that lady mother and that she's just supposed to accept it? I don't care what the timing was. It is what it is. Some of y'all wait to get married just until the cameras come back, and we ain't sitting up there talking about you. So that's my point of view. That's my commentary. If you like, I appreciate you guys coming to watch. I appreciate you guys supporting me.